of how far flung we have come and how far we have to go. Along with multifarious struggles and triumphs, there is much more to thrive and much more to show. Let's rejoice the majestic journey this establishment had and up to now. Let's raise a toast to make it even better. Let us take a vow.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to World Social Work Day 2019. The theme of the year is 2019 is promoting human relationship. I am Purna Chandran, second year MSW. My co-facilitator, Ms. Akita K. Raghu, second year MSW. We thank you all for gracing occasions. We are delighted to welcome every delegates to the Department of Social Work. செல்விருந்து ஊம்பி வருவிருந்து பார்த்திருப்பவர் நல்வருந்து வானத்தார்க்கு. The person having entertained the guests that have come looks out for the other guests who may yet to come will be welcome guests to the inhabitant of heaven. Now I request Professor R. Nalli, Head Department of Social Work, to give the welcome address.
A very good morning to one and all present here. It's a very happy morning for us from the Department of Social Work. Here we are for the World Social Work Day 2019. So without taking any more of your time, because we have a lot of programs lined up and we have really busy people on the dais, let me give the duty that is given to me. Let me complete it with a lot of pleasure. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome our chief guest, Dr. Samuel Chellaya, who is a PhD in social work, my immediate junior in college. We are meeting after many years. I think after MSW, this is the first time I'm meeting him, and who is in a very good position. He has been really a symbol of success in our college, the Regional Director, NSS, Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, Government of India. Welcome you, sir, for this program. It's my privilege to welcome our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Gurmeet Singh, Pondicherry University Vice Chancellor, who is the most busy person. Last evening, I went twice to meet him. Only in the evening, he was around 7 o'clock. I could meet him for a few minutes. Thank you, sir, for taking time out of your really busy schedule. Sir is having back-to-back CAS interviews arranged. Even now, he got off the vehicle. He was sitting in the front seat, and the experts were there inside the car. And he just asked him to take a round because he didn't want to miss our program. Thank you, sir, for taking out your time and being with us. And it's my pleasure to welcome our beloved Dean, Professor Venkat Ragotham, who for the Social Work Department has always been very supportive, very encouraging. We always turn to him for all our needs. Thank you, sir, for being with us. And it's a pleasure to welcome all the other members who are present here from all the other departments, Professor Devan, Professor Chidambaram, Dr. Ilamurugu, Dr. Iftikhar Alam, Dr. Anbu, Dr. Shahin Sultana, and Dr. Shankar Narayan, and of course our program coordinator of this day, Dr. C. Satish Kumar. He is coordinating the World Social Work Day. Welcome all the faculty members to this program. All the non-teaching staff, research scholars and students from our department and all the other departments, a hearty welcome to you to this World Social Work Day. About this program, you'll hear much more. The next student who's coming in has a nice presentation to show you. But just that the theme for this year is enhancing human relations, which our students have already started through a lot of campaigns. Probably it's there in our course, only we are highlighting that how we are enhancing human relations. But sir, everything in this program is managed by our students, starting from this banner. The banner is handmade by our students. It was not ordered in any shops, and it's a wonderful example of how we do what we believe and how we stand for social work values. So with this, warm welcome to you all once again. Thank you.
Good morning, friends. The Dean of the Faculty, Professor Gautam, Chief Guest, Dr. Samuel Chellaya, Head of the Department, Professor Nalli, Ambika Chidambaram, Thirumangan, and Hiba Farooq, the students who participated actively in making this program a grand success. I was very pleased when yesterday I was told that I have to attend this program. Social work is one which is very dear to my heart, let me tell you. most of our people who are not doing anything in this regard, when you meet them, you will find that they are not very happy. When you talk to them, they have some element of depression in one of their heart, in one of the corners of the heart. They will not be getting a sense of satisfaction in whatever they do. But when you do something for the society, I am telling you from the core of my heart, something which I felt during my earlier days, younger days, that when you do something for someone, the immense sense of satisfaction that you get, it is something to be felt, can't be explained in words, let me tell you. And in good old days, our elders in the family used to teach us that, okay, whatever you may do one good deed for the society a day. Whatever way you can do it. Help some child in explaining some concept, something you should do, or clean your school, if nothing else. And when we were students, there was nothing like School of Social Work, Department of Social Work, Studies in Social Work. It used to be that a class would turn by turn come out before the school used to start, and they would clean the school. We never had any helper. And we would all do it, one class, one day. And turn by turn we would do it. And gradually we learned that this is very important. And the day we would not do that, one would get a feeling that something is amiss. And when we came to University of Delhi, we never knew what is it. After a while, when we were students, we learned that there is a School of Social Work they are establishing. And there was a big board. And sometimes we used to wonder, what is it that social work they are going to teach? What is it that is going to be taught here? What kind of a curriculum will be there? And in a very short span of about 5 years, we found that that became a very important school, and the employability of the students who were coming out of this was at a very high rate, and they were getting wonderful placements. Previously, anybody would go and walk into that and would get admission. A time came, in a short span, as I said, in 5 years' time, they started conducting an entrance exam. And the standard of that exam started getting tougher and tougher with every year passing during that phase. And now it is obviously one of the important departments in almost all universities. There is hardly a university where you will not find this department. Now the question is, what is it? Is it that we have to do this course and then become a good social worker, or we can do it ourselves otherwise? Then there is a wing related to this, NSS. Everybody takes it, some bit of a credit is given. These are all regimentated kind of setups. What is required is that through these schools and NSS, with the help of these, a kind of spirit of social work has to be inculcated. This has to be inculcated in all. And as I said, when you start doing something for somebody, it makes you a better human being. The kind of satisfaction you get, it is amazing. And it helps you in focusing whatever you're doing. You get a feeling that, well, I've done something good. This is what emerges out of this. And when I took over the reins of this place, the first thing I did was I called all the principals. I said, in and around Pondicherry, it is treated as an area which requires attention. So why don't we all adopt a village and start helping these villages in 3 aspects of their daily course. One related to education, second related to health, and third related to waste management. If these 3 things we can teach our villagers, I think they'll become the right sort of model villages. And if that improves in and around Pondicherry, Pondicherry will become one of the best states that way. Best union territories, of course, but then we can term it as one of the best states in the country. And that would motivate others to follow this. It took off very well, but then in between, after about 4 months, there was some bit of a sluggishness. People didn't take this particular part in the spirit with which they started. But then I was not disheartened by that. I knew that whenever we start anything, We start with a great enthusiasm, and after a while, when you're doing it repeatedly, there is a feeling which comes that, okay, we can now slow down. I called another meeting and I said, this has to be taken up in all sincerity. My target was that within a year the results will be showing up, but then maybe we may have to wait for another 6 months. I will again be calling a meeting wherein I'll urge all the principals to take up the matter a little more seriously. Now that's one. They are doing their bit, but in order to give a flip to the entire program, our social work department can take a big lead, because they are at a loss what to do. Though we have told them what are the areas we have to focus on, but that is where our social work department can take a big lead. They can go, address, guide them, teach them what way to go about it, and if these 3 areas you can look after, you will be helping the country, let me tell you. Because on many occasions I have told you that 50% of our young kids who should be going to school are not able to go to school for a variety of reasons. It could be economic reasons, it could be societal reasons, it could be reasons related to religion. And all these things we have to help their parents overcome. And we have to guide them that this is the most important aspect in a child's life. So if you can get every child into school, I think that will be the biggest contribution. And where do we begin this from? Not from Delhi, not from Chennai, not from Bangalore. The unit which makes our country is a village. And this is where we have to begin. We have to begin from a village. So if you can start that part, help the villagers in these areas, I think it will be the biggest and the richest contribution you would be ultimately making in making their life far better, worth living, and helping them in coming up to the right standard. I also said, Shaheen was the head of the department at that time, I said that in Pondicherry prison, I was surprised there is no counselor. Nobody counsels the prisoners, and they are when you talk to them, they are in a very bad mental state of affairs. Somebody would have done some crime and they are there, somebody would have been innocent and one is also there. So both would require counseling. And I was quite surprised when I found that for years there has never been a visit by any counselor. So we told them, why don't we do this? And I requested the HOD at that time that some of our social workers, social work students, some of our students from philosophy department, some of our researchers from applied psychology department can turn by turn visit Pondicherry prison. Even if you visit twice a week, turn by turn, I'm not saying that the whole burden should be taken up by social work department. You too, and along with that, applied psychology, philosophy, other departments too, if they can visit and help the inmates, I think it will improve their life much better, and when they come out, they will definitely be better citizens. Everybody requires some bit of counseling these days, and this is where our university can play a big role. This is also a part of social work, and this is what we do when we think about it from an individual point of view. But I am glad that I think 25 years back, if I am not mistaken, Ministry of Social Work was set up. A program in this direction was launched originally, but then there were a variety of programs subsequently which led to a lot of research in this area, that if a particular area is not up to the level, why is it not? That kind of a survey started, and we gradually had BA social work, MA social work, then research in social work. These subjects advanced to a fairly high level. You will be wondering, why is it in our country? It is not only in our country, it is abroad also, in some of the good universities, that this topic has assumed a great importance all over, including countries like Japan. They are working in this area, wherever where there is no requirement. If you go to a country like Hungary, you will be surprised, let me tell you, though in good old days it was a country with communist bloc, but now of course it has opened up as a socialist country. If you go to their villages, I have seen these at random, not that they organize the visit. Ambassador, India's ambassador to that place, I'm naming Mr. Surendralal Malik, who was a great lyricist also. We visited at random. Okay, we'll go to this village today, that village, southern Hungary. Believe me, not a single village we found where there would be any heap of garbage or anything which is not properly organized or roads not being properly kept. It was a remarkable scene, and one was amazed that some of the best, bigger cities in our country would not be able to live up to the standards that those villages had. So if a not so rich country like Hungary could develop a program like this, and they did this with the help of their own social work departments, if they can do it, there is no reason why should we not be able to emulate that kind of a standard here. So there is a lot of scope, lot of work to be done. We shouldn't be complacent that we have done enough and nothing is required to be done. There is a lot to be done, let me tell you. And if you take a step forward in this direction, let me tell you, your contribution shall be the richest in making our country a forward-looking, progressive, wonderful country to be in. So with these words, I compliment the department, Professor Nalini and her team for organizing this. You will wonder, why do we do this? We know that this is the day. When you celebrate this, you are reminded of the pledge, you are reminded of the responsibility, you are reminded of the duties that we ought to have, and we ought to play the role we ought to play in making our society a better place to live. Nobody can do a better contribution than the students of social work. So if you play it, if you perform in the best possible ways, I think you will be contributing very richly to the growth of our nation. Thank you very much. I compliment the department and thank you for inviting me. God bless.
Alone we can do a little, together we can do so much. This is the quote given by Helen Keller. Now I call upon Mr. Tirumurugan to give Social Work Day pledge.
I solemnly pledge to consecrate my life to the service of humanity and to social justice. I will practice my profession responsibly with conscience, integrity, and dignity, which are consistent with its values, ethical principles, and ethical standards. The welfare of my client will be my first consideration. I will respect the secrets which are confided to me, even after my professional relationship with my client has ended. I will maintain by all means in my power the honor and the traditions of the social work profession. My colleagues are my brothers and sisters. I will not permit considerations of gender, age, religion, race, ethnicity, sexual affiliation, physical ability, mental ability, political philosophy, or socio-economic standing to intervene between my duty and my client. I will be sensitive to cultural and to ethnic diversity and strive to end discrimination, oppression, poverty, and other forms of social injustices. I will maintain the utmost respect for the inherent dignity and worth of every human being, even under threat to myself. I make these promises solemnly, freely, and upon my honor. Thank you.
Now it's time to invite our chief guest, Dr. C. Samuel Chinaya.
உங்கள் அனைவருக்கும் என்னுடைய காலை வணக்கத்தையும் வாழ்த்துதலையும் தெரிவித்துக் கொள்கின்றேன். Most Honorable the Vice Chancellor of Pondicherry University, Professor Gurmeet Singh, the Head of the Department of Social Work, and my senior, Madam Professor R. Nalini, Professor Venkata Rakhotham, the Dean, and my friend and Head of the Department, Dr. Devan, Dr. Satish of Department of Social Work, Mrs. Sakhain Sultana of Department of Social Work, Dr. Natesan, and other faculty members of Department of Social Work, and the social work students, both first year and second year, and all other faculty members of the Department of Social Work. Once again, a warm greetings to all of you on the wonderful occasion of World Social Work Day. One thing I thought to start with the today's my speech, probably revolving around the theme of World Social Work Day. The speed is calculated miles per hour. Speed is calculated miles per hour. Life is calculated smiles per hour. More the smiles and more the life. The theme of the promoting the human relationship that starts with a smile. So everybody is so rigid today. It's a day of joy. It's a day of celebration, as even the Honorable Vice Chancellor pointed out. It's a great recognition for the professional social workers all over the globe. And it's a kind of a recognition for the contribution which they have done in their capacity as a professional social workers. I've been invited to this forum in the capacity of one of the old student of social work. And I was the junior when Madam Nalini was my senior in the Madurai Institute of Social Sciences. And I can say with a very boldly that I got selected in the UPSC because of the capacity of the social work background only. Social work has contributed not only the lives of the many people, and also it contributed and enriched my own life in many ways. Probably I just want to concentrate something on the today's theme of World Social Work Day, promoting the human relationship, or how the social work can contribute for the promotion of the human relationship. And many things, probably the very first thing I can say that the promotion of any kind of a social work or any kind of the human relationship, it starts with the kind of the smile, number one. Even there's a famous saying, it says that love at first sight, it also starts with a smile. You cannot start love without any smile. You cannot start any kind of relationship without a smile. Smile is the beginning, not only the kind of the relationship, the smile is the basic quality of a human. Even the animal cannot smile, only human can smile. Now even most of the people, they are telling that the animal started smiling because the human, they're forgetting their own smiles. Being the social worker, we should carry the smile wherever we go, because we often come in touch with the community, we often come in touch with the needy people, we often come in touch with the deserving people. Probably the moment you enter them, you greet them, that is the smile is the first thing. So wherever you go out, always carry the kind of the wonderful ornament of the smile. The second one, the kind of the tool which will nurture the kind of the human relationships, the kind of the communication and the kind of the listening. the biggest problem for all of us, even in the conversation or the negotiation, even in the kind of the listening, we always listen with the intention to give answer for that particular person, rather than with the intention to understand. Half of the problem will be solved with the intention to understand rather than with the intention to give some kind of an answer. Many times the problem occurs, we always listen with the capacity or with the intention to give some kind of an answer or reply to the particular person. We never listen with the kind of an intention to understand certain thing. Probably the moment you start listening with the kind of the understanding, the relationship starts budding. The relationship starts sprouting. Probably that is the main ingredient for any social worker in order to take up their own work. And the second one is the kind of an attitude for all of us, especially the social workers. I have seen in 19 years of my social work service, especially in the Government of India service, I have seen most of the professional social workers who have graduated, their hearts and minds, it's not only small in size, it is not only medium in size, it is not only the large size, it is not only extra large size, it is extra large size. The minds and hearts of the social work people. That is why the profession still in existence. That is why the profession still is growing. That is why the profession is still getting recognized by many of the people. And this is one of the wonderful profession. Probably we can help them. And most of the people, maybe post-retirement, if you can ask anyone, so what are you doing? Everyone will say that I am doing service. So service, it's become a very, very easy component for everybody. Probably that kind of the professional, the ethics, the professional principles, and the kind of the professional qualities, if we can do something, that will be the great kind of thing. Another thing, the attitude only makes who is the professional and who is the non-professional. I recently come across a kind of the two kinds of the attitude. One, it is called a Japanese attitude. Another one is called the Indian attitude. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to me very carefully. The kind of the Indian attitude or the kind of the Japanese attitude. Probably after 1945, you can analyze both the countries of Japan as well as in India. Probably we would have achieved somewhere else, we could have gone somewhere else. But we are not able to cross, we are not able to grow. At the same time, the Japan has contributed and they have encroached in host of the technological advancement and they have gone somewhere. Why? It is not only the technological advancement, it is not only the kind of the people's hard work. The majority of the people, they say that it is an attitude of the people that will make them grow and make the country grow. What is that attitude, ladies and gentlemen? What is an Indian attitude? What is the Japanese attitude? The Japanese attitude and the Indian attitude. First, let me say the Japanese attitude. Japanese, the sentence it goes like this: if one can do that, if one can do that, I too can do that. If somebody can do something somewhere else, I too can do something. Then second sentence of the Japanese attitude: if none can do that, if none can do that, I must do that, or I should do that. That is the Japanese attitude. Ladies and gentlemen, coming back to the Indian attitude, if one can do that, if one can do that, let him do that. If one can do that, let him do that. He will do that, he will do that, he will do that, he will take care of that, he will do that, all things, passing the responsibility to somebody else. If one can do that, let him do that. The second one is very, very important. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to me very, very carefully. We are all social workers. We have a great responsibility to carry. I always project my own self, not an ordinary social worker. I am a professional social worker. I need to reflect. My own words and deeds needs to be reflected in a professional way. I need to be in a professional. The words which I say, the actions which I do, that reflects a kind of the professionalism. Then only people start looking at me. Then only the people start respecting me. Then only people start caring at me. Then only people start sharing with me. All things starts with the moment I reflect the kind of the professionalism. The last one, if one can do that, let him do that. The second one, If none can do that, how can I do that? If none can do that, how can I do that? This is an attitude, ladies and gentlemen. This is an attitude is lacking. This is an attitude, the main cause for the Indian people. Probably the youngest people. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot of young sisters and brothers, you are all listening to me. Set right and fine-tune your attitude. Without the fine-tuning attitude, you will never grow anywhere. You will never achieve anywhere. If you can come across, you can turn up the history of every people. The overall excel, who are all achieve some kind of the success, they were all fine-tuned their attitude. Without fine-tuning your attitude, you cannot move anywhere. Attitude is the base for any kind of the growth. Attitude is the base for and the base ingredient or the base quality of any social worker in order to develop, in order to nurture, in order to enrich the human relationship. The second one is a kind of the communication. Whether or me or am I in a position to communicate clearly? The famous quote of the Osho, Rajneesh, he said very wonderfully, the communication is defined very, very simply. Communication is not what I say. Ladies and gentlemen, listen carefully. Communication is not what I say, rather what you understand. Many times we assume that I have done my best and it is their part to understand. If the audience do not in a position to receive your information in the correct spell, in the correct mindset, in the correct signal, that is the problem of not the medium, it's a problem of the communicator. Professional social worker needs to tune up your communication. In order to enrich the human relationship, we need to gear up the communication. Communication is the lifeline. Communication is the heart of any human existence. Without communication, nothing will happen. There is a famous saying in Tamil, "Aludha pullai dhaan paal kudikum." Only the crying child will get a milk. You need to give some kind of signal very clearly. Signal, both words and deeds are the human signals that will contribute something for the human development or nurturing the human relationship. The third one is the trust. First one I said smile. Second one is I talked about the kind of an attitude. Third one is the communication. Fourth one is a kind of the trust. Without trust, nothing will happen. Without trust, nothing will happen. Even you all might have heard about the recent, the incident which happened that totally shocked the entire, not only Tamil Nadu, the entire, the country, entire the world, the Pollachi incident. I don't know how many of you had seen the WhatsApp, the crying of the girl. Very, very categorically. One word which everybody is pointing out. It is not that the kind of the video, it's a kind of the word the girl said. Very beautifully, with a lot of agony in her mind. She said, "Nambi thane vanden. I have believed you. Why you have done that?" Nambi thane vanden. It's a very, very deep word. The deep meaning in it. Trust. Only develop human relationship. If the trust is broken, relationship is broken. Trust is the base for all the kind of, whether it is a professional relationship or a marital relationship or a brotherly relationship or an intimate relationship, whatever it may be, that trust is the baseline. Without trust, you cannot do that. That is the word, it is still killing me. It's still pinching me. Nambi thane vanden. Why you have done? Very, very agony. Nambu. There is a famous, the Tamil culture has a very, very great the tradition. நம்பினோரை ஒருபோதும் கைவிடாத ஒரே சமூகம் தமிழ் சமுதாயம், தமிழ் மொழி, தமிழ் கலாச்சாரம். There is another kind of for every kind of the state, they have their own kind of the saying. I served in Kerala. People, they say that Kerala people, they always project and they are always proud to say that it's a God's own country. Deivathin sondam naadu, endai naadu. They always say like that. But in Tamil Nadu, I belong to Tamil Nadu. எனக்கும் என்னுடைய நாட்டிற்கும் என்னுடைய இந்த சமூகத்திற்கும் ஒரு சொல்லுண்டு, வந்தாரை வாழ வைக்கும் ஒரே பூமி தமிழ் பூமி. Whoever come in, they will all cherish and they will all go with their beautiful memories. Tamil culture is like that. We never cheat anyone. We never defeat anyone. That kind of the culture where it has gone. What is the role of the education? Very beautifully said Aristotle. Educating the mind without educating the heart is not at all an education. Are we nurturing the heart? What is the use of the degrees you are getting out from IITs and NITs and Pondicherry University and all these things? Ladies and gentlemen, education is not accumulation of knowledge, rather application of knowledge. It's a high time to think about social workers. Don't study for the sake of the degree, for the sake of the certificate. Try to reflect through your words and deeds in a professional way. That is what the today's message. Build up the trust. You'll be meeting a lot of clients, a lot of people you may come across for the counseling. Try to build up the trust with them. Without trust, nothing will happen. Trust is the baseline, especially for the 2019 World Social Work Day. The theme, it revolves around promoting the kind of the human relationship. Human relationship starts with trust. Human relationship starts with smile. Human relationship starts with a kind of an attitude. Human relationship starts with a kind of a communication. And I will quote the 4 important ingredients for nurturing human relationship, for a true relationship. First one is the trust. First one is the trust. Earn the trust of the people. Maybe a wife, maybe a husband, maybe a brother, maybe a sister, maybe a general public, or maybe a customer, maybe a client. Try to win the trust of the people concerned to whom you are working. It's very, very important. For a social worker, in order to develop, in order to deal with the kind of a human relationship, we need to equip our own self in order to, we are all the trust builders, not the trust destructors. Trust. The second one is very, very important, the respect. Try to give respect. மரியாதையை கொடுத்து மரியாதை வாங்க வேண்டும். First you give voluntarily. First you give respect, then take respect. That is what Tamil says. That's what the culture says. Don't expect respect. First you offer respect. Offer your respect. Offer the kind of all kind of the things. Then you expect. Second one is the respect. And the third one is an understanding. Understand who am I? What are the strength of the Samuel? What are all my weakness? How I can translate all kind of the weakness into the strength. I need to understand my own self in relation to the society, in relation to the department of social worker, in relation to the community, in relation to the father, in relation to the mother, in relation to the entire world. I need to judge my own self. I need to value my own self in order to take up my own, the kind of the visible social work, in order to generate, in order to nurture the human relationship, understanding. And the last one, the E, it stands for encourage people. Encourage everybody. Appreciate everybody through your words and deeds. Even somebody, they come with a good dress, you can appreciate the good dress today. It's wonderful. Nice looking. The shirt nice looking. The dress is nice looking. The belt is nice looking. The spectacle is good. The car is good. Something like that. Nurture. Carry the words and loads of appreciating words wherever you go. The people who started appreciating, they are the one who are loved by many people. And if you can pronounce all the 4, the trust, the respect, the understanding and encouraging, if you take all the first letters, it will turn into true. If you want to develop true relationship, trust the people. In order to develop relationship, respect people, understand people and encourage people, then automatically you will be the true social worker to develop true and promising, constructive and progressive human relationship. Thank you so much for patient listening. And also, thank you for Madam Nalini for inviting me on this wonderful occasion of World Social Work Day, and I'm so delighted. And this is the first platform I'm sharing with social work people. Normally I share with the dais with many other general diverse kind of people. I'll meet a lot of children, the school children, college children, some of the faculties. And this is the first time I'm so delighted because this is my own family. And the family, this is where Samuel probably 25 years back, like you, I studied social work and all things. Still, Madam Nalini, we are all studied together, and she was my senior in the Madurai Institute of Social Sciences, and all developed. And whatever the qualities which I said before you, it's all developed during my college days only. And I become, even I can say that in one word. If somebody asked me to say define social work in only one word, I can say it in very beautifully in Tamil. மாணவனை மனிதனாக மாற்றிய ஒரே துறை சமூக துறை. அது சமூகவியல் துறை என்று சொல்லலாம், அது social work என்று சொல்லலாம். That is the only period, the 2 years of studied, I have changed my own self, I have fine-tuned my own self, and I have realized what is professional and what is non-professional, how I have to carry, and what are the things I need to express, what are the things I should not express, and what are the things I can talk in the intimate level, what are the things I can talk at the public level. These are all kind of the professionalism I learned when I was a student in social work. Still I am reflecting, still I am learning, and still I am learning. Social work is one of the very promising kind of the profession. Thank you so much for interacting with the family members of the social work, especially in the Pondicherry University. Thank you so much for Dr. Satish for making all the pains for inviting me, and he is also my counterpart in taking care of the National Service Scheme as the coordinator of the Pondicherry, and also the former coordinator Mr. Devan is also here. They're all very wonderful, nice people. Try to grow each other. And finally, I end up with the famous quoting of the Martin Luther King Jr. He said very wonderfully, problem of the world is not bad deeds of the bad people. Listen carefully. Problem of the world is not bad deeds of the bad people, but silence of the good people. Don't be silent. Social workers should not be the silent spectators. They are the vigilant monitors. They are the vigilant, the torch bearers for the development of the human relations. Thank you very much. God bless you, and pray God for your beautiful kind of the future. Give you all kind of the wisdom, knowledge, and power, and strength, and skills, and talents to take up the human relations to the higher level. Wish you all the very best. God bless you, and take care.
If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. Now, I call upon Professor Venkatarangotham, Dean, School of Social Sciences and International Studies, to give us this special address.
I'm really very grateful to Dr. Samuel Chellaiah for the wonderful speech that he has just delivered. I thank my colleague, Dr. Nalini, of course my colleague Satish, and the former head of the department, who's sitting very sullen, Dr. Shaheen Sultana, and all my students. What I'm going to say is probably a little different, because I'm not a professional social worker. So what I'm going to say is from a non-professional point of view. Now, recently, when, I don't know how many of you watch television, but recently there was a very interesting ceremony in the great hall of Rashtrapati Bhavan. I don't know how many of you, the Padma Shri awards were given. And one lady, an old lady of 102 years, walked up to the President of India. Her name, Tikkamma. Nobody knows her name. She's a social worker, non-professional social worker, like me, a non-professional social worker. She walked up to the President of India and received the Padma Shri. 102 years old lady, bent with age, wisdom, experience, and then as she received the honor, she suddenly reached out to the president. Our president is a very tall man, he's nearly 6 feet 1 inch, Ram Govind, pulled him and kissed him on the forehead. I don't know how many. It's a wonderful gesture of humility and blessing. That is social work. What was Tikkamma known for? She was planting trees all over. In her lifetime, she has probably given birth to millions of trees, planting trees. And without a tree, you can't live. Where will you practice your social work if you can't live in an environment which is safe? So think of Tikkamma before you think of anybody else, because she represents the very best. That's number one. I do not know how many of you watch TV again. Our great Prime Minister collected all the sanitation workers in Banaras, sanitation workers who spend their life in what may be called rather very, very difficult hygienic circumstances, let us face it. He washed their feet. After Gautama Buddha washed the feet of Ananda, his disciple, we have one more instance of a great man washing the feet of 6 sanitation workers. These represent the essence of Indian social work. You do commitment to society, represented by Tikkamma, and humility to society, represented by our great Prime Minister himself. I don't think anyone in this room, including myself, have washed the feet of a sanitation worker. I don't think so. And here is a Prime Minister who washes the feet of a sanitation worker. Think of the powerful message that he's sending across after 70 years of what I would call highly ossified, stratified, homogenized rule. What is the message he is sending? A message of equality, a message of humility, and a message of service. And I think it is necessary on this day for all of us to reflect on these very powerful images. The image of this old woman receiving her Padma Shri from the President of India. And I don't think, in the 70 odd years of India's independence, ordinary people picked up from the streets have been given such awards. First time, genuine social work has been recognized. Second, a Prime Minister humbling himself to reach out to the unreached and giving a message that in this world we are all not children of lesser gods, but we are all children of the same God. I don't think any other political leader across time after Ashoka has given that message, that you are all children of the same God. These two powerful images should be seared in your mind, because that will tell you where we are going. We're going towards a new society of service. A service. And I think professional social workers like Dr. Samuel Chellaiya and our own very, very inspiring department headed by Professor Nalini are examples of that. Why do we need social work? I've given you examples of 2 very shining examples of social work, but let us move on to a more practical application of social. Why do we need social work? We need social work and we need social workers because we are living in a very complex society. We are living in a society that is becoming so mechanized that our own individual ability to deal with the mechanized and rather alienating world in which we live is becoming difficult. To negotiate our way through this very difficult world is becoming extremely complicated. We face problems, we face challenges. Some of us have the ability to deal with those problems, many don't. When you have a sudden bereavement in the family, it is something that is shocking. We don't have the strength to bear it. That is where professional social worker comes in. Suddenly a family can have a financial meltdown, and it needs all the strength to regather its ability to face the situation. Social worker comes in. And then today in the world of industry, you need social workers to mediate between the worker in the shop floor and the management, because they face so many difficulties. They may have injuries, they may receive injuries, and the management will always say that this injury is not there, and we are not responsible for it, therefore you bear it. But it's a social worker who comes in and tries to make the documents, tries to put together the case that this is indeed an industry-related injury. It is not necessary that you have to be true and beautiful to be a social worker. You need to be dedicated and honest. I remember there is a glass factory in Pondicherry, Mandargapattu, close by. Glass, as you know, the glass factory is silicon. It is silicon. And to make glass, you have to blow through a very long tube. And so in the process of doing that, some tiny pieces of glass gets encrusted in the lungs. And as you know, the lungs are the softest tissue of the human body. And over a period of time, silicosis, the whole lungs get infected with silicon. It can no longer do that very essential job of keeping you alive. And then the workers there were all sent home. They're all girls, because somehow the young women in their late teens, early 20s. And then one social worker, who is not from the communist parties, by the way, he is not from the communist parties, he filed a writ in the Madras High Court and got them some kind of relief. The monetary compensation was not all that outstanding, but that is not the point. The point is that a social worker stood there to fight with them and got some amount of compensation for the suffering that they had endured on the shop floor. Why I am giving this example is to show that social work is not just a matter of being a kind shoulder to lean on or to cry on. Social worker has a greater role to play in this complex world. He has to be the defender of people's rights. He has to be the defender of people's livelihood. He has also to be the defender of people's environment, because we are living in a day and age when environment is becoming more and more hostile to the healthy living of people. To live healthy means you need to have clean air, clean water. And so the social workers should be on the field to ensure that people living in a particular locality have that. Clean water, clean air, make sure that the environment is not infected or infested with antisocial elements. And we have, and to do all that, we don't need to take the support of political parties or the support of the state. Social workers, if they organize themselves and if they conscientize people in their society, people can organize themselves to protect their rights. And that is what I'm coming to, that it is not necessary that to have clean air, clean water, safe livelihood, and to keep your environment safe, you need either the support of the state or you need the support of political parties. You don't. If you organize yourself well enough, it is possible for you to live a life of dignity, to lead a life with a worthwhile life, a life full of rewards in and of itself, if you are able to organize yourself horizontally, not vertically, because vertical organizations are there across the board. A university is a good example of vertical organization. Trade unions are good examples of vertical organizations. I'm not saying that you organize vertical structures. I'm asking you to organize yourself horizontally, network amongst yourself, so that you can preserve, protect, and defend your rights and your dignity. Do not depend on the state, and certainly don't depend on political parties, because that would be the biggest betrayal if you ever go in that direction, the direction of political parties, as if they are going to come forward to defend your rights. You have to defend yourself. And so on this World Social Work Day, add one more to that list of pledges that you took, that you will not participate in any kind of a political process when you think that that political process violates your rights, your dignity, and your freedom. Thank you very much.
As we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live with them. A very good afternoon to one and all present here. I, Ambika of first year MSW, take immense pleasure to propose the vote of thanks for the wonderful occasion of World Social Work Day 2019. To begin with, I would like to thank our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Gurmeet Singh, Pondicherry University, for his valuable contribution. His words of encouragement and kindness always inspires us in all the endeavors. Thank you, sir. Next, I feel grateful to thank Professor Venkata Ragotham, Dean, School of Social Sciences and International Studies, Pondicherry University. Your guidance has always encouraged us, sir. I thank him for his kindness and continued support in all our matters. Thank you, sir.